So let's start building the ladder logic program. When starting a PLC ladder logic, always try to break down the problem one step at a time. It makes it easier for you to program the task and also for debugging purposes. Let's look at the first task. The start push button is pressed and let go. A stacker starts stacking sheets of wood, and then when we have 12 sheets, the conveyor starts. So I need to use a start push button to keep it on even after letting go the start push button, because we cannot expect the technician to keep holding the start push button while stacking the sheets. So we use an XIC for this example, and we create an internal tag. We name it as start process and seal the start push button to keep the start process on. So now, as soon as the push button is pressed, the XIC instruction is activated, instructions highlighted, and the internal tag is activated. The bit status is 1. And as soon as the internal tag is 1, the XIC in the seal in instruction is activated too. So even if the push button is no longer pressed, the internal start process tag is kept on, as the rung now uses an OR option to keep the output on. Then we use sensor A to keep start counting for the 12 sheets. We need to count up to 12 sheets. For sensor A, it is an input, so it senses each sheet and counts them. So we use an XIC instruction as an input to start counting the 12 sheets. And for counting, we use counter up instruction. Our preset value is 12. Note here that the counting of the sheets should happen after pressing the start push button. So if the start push button is not pressed prior to this step, the counter should not start counting. And for that purpose, we need to use a start push button instruction in the same rung of the counter, as the counting cannot start if the start push button has not pressed yet. And for that purpose, we are going to use them in series because we want both the start process and the sensor to work in order for the counter to start counting. So this is how the ladder logic is for the first part. Pressing the start push button and then counting for the 12 sheets.